Let's take a look at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. 3.281 miles, 16 corners, a total as well of 58 laps. It's a fantastic sweeping circuit that has been modified since opened but still provides a challenge. Get a good exit out of the last corner, sweep downhill and start the lap. Turn 1, a long sweep, quick left-hander as well, all the way down from 8th gear to 5th gear. Accelerate the exit and go too wide. Prepare for uphill turn 2 to the left, then to the right for a long sweep turn 3. Keep the power down as well as you approach turn 4, the exit, and now turn 5, a hairpin. 3rd gear corner, double apex. You can take a lot more speed in and also a great opportunity to overtake. The longest straight in Formula 1, down all the way in 8th gear, DRS open as well as you're held towards turn 6 and 7 chicane. From 8th gear at over 300 kilometers an hour, snapping the brakes with around about 100 meters to go, down to 2nd gear, mid-corner, keep on the accelerate, open up to 3rd gear, and keep on the power hard as you open up the 2nd DRS zone on the run down towards turn 9's hairpin as well. Another long sweeping left-hander which provides a lot of overtake and looks like an oval style corner. A lot of sweeps, a lot of easy high lines to take through as well, all filtering down towards turns 10, 11 and 12. From 7th gear all the way down to the braking zone for 3rd gear as you approach the Yas Hotel. Turns 19 and 20 modified ever so slightly as well to open up, now renamed 13 and 14. 7th gear to turn 15 now, flat out, easy the exit for a heavy braking zone, down to 4th gear for the last corner, turn 16, downhill to the control line, and that is a lap of Yas Marina. Hello everybody, good afternoon, good morning and welcome to all of the action from the Formula 2 final weekend. If you're wondering why, A, I'm wearing a hoodie and the hood's up with the headphones over it, and B, why I'm wearing a gilet, it's freezing in this commentary box. When I say freezing, I mean freezing. Green lights on, we're underway though in this practice session. We are go, so let's transfer to the world feeds. It's beyond freezing in the commentary box, but out there in Abu Dhabi, the track temperature is 36.3 degrees, air temperature 27.8. A nice cool start to the morning over there. Welcome to round 13 of the Formula 2 Championship in 2023. We've had to wait for it over 3 months, but we are here at the Yas Marina circuit on Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates. A 5.281 kilometre circuit, 23 laps ahead of us for the sprint race tomorrow. Top speed, 194.7 miles an hour, elevation change at 10.23 metres. Turn 5 is an action zone. When it first got invented, 2021, Piastri versus Lawson, forcing each other off the track as well. Further down at turns 6 and 7 in 2022, Lawson on the inside of Richard Verschull, the great dive bomb manoeuvre. And further on the circuit at turn 9 in 2021, Dragovic versus Jaruvula, right round the outside manoeuvres, very close to contact. Maybe that's what Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen could have done. Cars around the track then. Vesti and Behrman, the two drivers of the Primus who are going to be taking part in the Formula 1 session later on. Pourchaire versus Vesti then. 191 for Pourchaire, Vesti 166. It seems almost a done deal that Théo Pourchaire will be the F2 champion, but Omi alongside me in the commentary box, it all comes down to this couple of sessions. He could do it in qualifying, could do it in the sprint race.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this weekend goes. However, the evidence of Formula 2 so far this season is not over till it's over. We've seen drivers retire from 3 feature races in a row. It's been absolutely chaotic this Formula 2 season. And obviously Zandvoort, Monza, Belgium, all of these races, we've seen a lot of championship leaders drama in those races. As well, so it's definitely not over. There is some drama for Porcher and Vestiaz. The Behrman weekend from Baku, they're definitely possible, and maybe Iwasa will need the double Behrman weekend, and Vesti and Porcher to basically continue doing what they did in Zandvoort, and well, in Zandvoort where they both retired.
Old tyres come off, new tyres go on for Porcher. Tyre field coming into the pit lane, just getting their practice starts done. Doohan coming in as well. As Porcher comes to a halt just after it as well, making sure everything's okay. Can't do a practice start inside the pit lane. That will come at the end of the session. Busy weekend here. All of the streams are set up yet because everything's still messy. It'll all be set up ready for tomorrow. We've got MotoGP coming up as well today. How this is working, by the way, because Formula 1 and MotoGP have direct clashes. Me and Megan are taking on a dual lead commentary role this weekend, so we will be swapping backwards and forwards from the commentary boxes in order to cover the series for you. So we will still see all the action from MotoGP and Formula 1. It's just I miss a couple of laps of Formula 1, I miss a couple of laps of MotoGP. Megan does exactly the same, as she calls both of them as well. So it's just going to be that type of weekend. On Tuesday, we're covering the entirety of the MotoGP test, that single day of postseason testing. So you can join us for that as well. Let's check in with our World Feed commentators, Alex Jakes. Alex,
So 2 drivers, as you correctly say, Jakesy, getting a jump on things, and it's something that we saw Teo Porcher do before his first year in a Formula 2 car. It is such valuable mileage to give them a jump start on potentially the rest of the rookies moving through from the 3rd tier of the single-seater ladder that race on a Formula 1 weekend, and try to get a bit of a head of steam before a potential attack next season.
Yeah, next season looks like it's going to be some campaign. If you look at the names that we're going to welcome to the championship, Mercedes talking about their junior driver, Kimi Antonelli as well, who has been bypassed the Formula 3 stage and goes straight to Formula 2. Won't be the only one. You get the feeling that next year is going to be a very, very special season. But before we get then, 3rd year for Teo Porcher, the champion driver, he hopes by the end of the weekend. He can't win it today. He's got an opportunity in the sprint race. He does have an opportunity if he can beat Iwasa and Vesti in the sprint race. He's got a big opportunity to take the title. We'll keep you updated all the way through. Now, time to hear from the man who's going to be making his debut this weekend. Paul Aaron was speaking to us earlier in the weekend.
Yeah, obviously we had a very positive season in F3 this year, and I was with Prema, who I've been with for a long time. But yeah, now a new car, a new championship, and a new team, which is obviously going to be a challenge, but I think so far we have managed it really well. Trident's been very welcoming, and it's been super nice to be with them. I enjoyed the prep a lot, so hopefully we can do a good job this weekend. And yeah, in the end, I'm very excited, and to be honest, not too worried, because the goal of this weekend is just to gain some experience and get familiar with this kind of format, this kind of racing, with pit stops, different tyre compounds, which you don't have in a Formula 3.
Yeah, nice insight.
yellow flags out the circuit. And I heard a spinner in the background, so maybe that's why it's coming in. Track is now clear. I'll tell you what, though, it's Sector 3, so yeah, maybe it was. I mean, you were covering Macau last weekend as well. Paul Aron, big accident there as well to stop the main race.
Yeah, absolutely. Massive delay. It did cause with Paul Aron's crash as well. But yeah, great to see him in FIA Formula 2, along with also Franco Colapinto, who replaces Daruba, who's fully gone off to Formula E, so I wish him the best over there as well. So he's fully focusing on that. But now we also had Paul Aron obviously come in, replacing Clement Novalak for this round, and also as we heard Alex Jakes and Alex Bundle talking about as well. It can be really, really good for a driver to get an early taster as well. Now we're watching Franco Colapinto with the Williams livery as well, as expected, in the MP Motorsport. So he just had a bit of a wide moment to turn number 1. And is that the spin? There it is.
Half a big spin for Franco Colapinto, who did a 1:58. Now Joshua Mason at the top of the timesheets as well. What? Hang on a minute. I'm not seeing Franco Colapinto's name on the timing screen anywhere on that one. So I'm going to give that a quick refresh as to why it's not working. That's always a nice little thing, isn't it, that we're going to lose timings before they even start. There we go. There's Franco Colapinto's name coming up on the timing screen now. They're working a lot easier this weekend as well, which is better news. As they come through, Roman Stanek then coming through. So it's Joshua Mason on a 1:53.668. Then it's Roy Nazani, Franco Colapinto, Roman Stanek going to third, and his middle sector much faster. Paul Aron goes third fastest as well in his F2 debut. As they come into it, 1:57.513. So just early days. Hello, Synthor, by the way, who's watching on and be back with us for the races this weekend as well, and hopefully some other sessions. It's going to get very confusing, by the way, all this practice. It's just going to get worse. So yeah, basically I'm leaving about 20 minutes before the end of practice 1 to go cover the MotoGP. Roman Stanek does a 1:40.476 as well. Here's Nazani coming across the line, and he does a 1:39.844. Yeah, so basically, and then I'll be back for the F2 qualifying, and then I'll be able to do the F1's second practice, and then Megan, I'll leave just for the end of that, start the MotoGP on another computer device, and then switch back over to the main device, and then and then I leave 20 minutes. So I leave 10 minutes before the end of that session, and Megan covers the end of the MotoGP practice session. It's one of those days where you've just got to go with it. And then tomorrow, Megan's covering F1 qualifying, and then while I do MotoGP, the sprint race, and then I come back into the box for Q2, Q3. That sort of procedure as well. It's going to be absolutely chaos. What I could do with tomorrow in the F1 in qualifying is a red flag that happens for a very long time, or a delayed session, one of those nice ones. Paulo Aron goes third at 1:41.875.
Yep, definitely possible as well, with FIA Formula 2 obviously racing right before that, and if we do see a crash like we saw last year as well, we obviously saw a big crash last year as well into the barrier before, so I think if we see something similar, then that could definitely cause it more towards the end of the race, though, obviously, because they had to repair it in race and then get the F2 race back underway. So, yeah, definitely a possibility that we could get some kind of delay.
Oh, that's Paul Aron twitching, coming down into the back half of the track into what is now turn 16 on the circuit. It used to be 19, now it's 16. They've all sort of moved them around a bit. It's hard to tell at certain points as Jack Crawford has left the pit lane. Roman Stein's come back into the pit lane as we look at Joshua Mason. What have you made of Joshua Mason then? He's not exactly the most competitive driver.
I think Spa was a joke, though.
Yeah.
If you remember what he was doing at Spa was a joke. He was really messing things up in Spa, really. It was annoying all of us. We're delaying the safety car and doing stuff like that.
Delayed the start as well. He wasn't even in the pit. They went into the pit lane after all that.
Yeah. It was a bit of a mess in Spa. But yeah, he is improving as we go. I think maybe next season we'll see how he does, if he is even in the next season. We'll have to see what goes on behind the scenes with that. However, they've already confirmed another Josh to be driving in, Joshua Dirksen as well.
Simple says, how is Mason still driving? Money. Money. No, we've got no other idea how. It's just money to begin with. Down the straight towards 6 and 7 at the chicane. It's got an end-of-field term to this weekend already. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Valencia will have the same. Of course.
just
Go on.
go.
Oh, I was just going to say, of course, our attention is on the F2 title, and then our main focus will be the MotoGP World title, as that gets decided between Bagnaia and Martin, and it could be decided.
F1, no one cares about you.
No. And it could be decided in the sprint race on Saturday, so I'd much rather cover that than the F1 qualifying. So that's why Megan's doing the F1 qualifying with you lot as well. So it's going to be one of those weekends where we're just sort of going backwards and forwards. But go on, Emily. Over to you.
Yeah. Well, PHM always love to have at least one paid driver in this, you don't know.
Yes.
They always love to have a paid driver. Before Brad Benavides, he had to drop out for funding at the same time, but he also was able to get a seat. But it's time for an interview
I'm
with
super
him.
happy to be here in Yas Marina for my last Formula 2 race, and yeah, last race with my team as well, ART Grand Prix. So I'm gonna enjoy this one, and yeah, I will give my best. You know, I worked a lot. I worked really hard for those kinds of race weekends. You know, fighting for a championship. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here, and hopefully we can win this one.
I can't remember. Portier's not in the F1 field next year, is he?
In what?
Portier's not in the F1 field as a driver. He's not one of the rookies next year, because there isn't any rookies next year as far as I know.
Yeah. Unless we see anything happen with a Williams seat, that's someone else.
Yeah, which I don't think it will, because Sargent's been performing like crazy. So
Yeah.
just looking at it, do we have any rookies next year at all? I don't think we do. No one's changed.
Yeah, well, if no one's changing, yeah, we don't have any.
Everyone's good, yeah. I think it's at that's the first F1 season, I think, where we're going to go into the last race of the season, and everybody's on the grid in the same team next year. I think that's the first. Yeah. That can't have happened many a time in its history. The same drivers in the last
Yeah.
Grand Prix, the same drivers in the next race in a new season. That's, yeah. Has to be some kind of record. I bet Crofty's listening to me right now and is going, good point, write it down. All right, let's have a word with Frederick Vesti.
Obviously, it's been an incredible year with Prema. I've learned so much, and it was really, really great to be back with the Prema team that I know for this year. So yeah, honestly, it's been a year that I've really enjoyed. I think this year has probably been the year I've enjoyed racing the most since many years. The Formula 2 Championship is a special championship. You get to race on so many different circuits and in great places. So to be honest, regardless of what happens this weekend, I'm very proud of the job we've done, but I would lie if I didn't say that it would hurt to not win this championship, especially with the pace and performance we have had all year.
Do you think you can win it? I mean, Vesti's so far behind in the championship.
Well, once again, with the drama that we've seen so far this season, it's possible. It's definitely not impossible. I think we've seen crazy things in Formula 2, so you never know, definitely.
Yeah.
Could be possible as well, but one thing that is needed is a weekend like Oliver Behrman from Baku. That is one thing that he definitely needs for it to be possible. But yeah, Frederick Vesti, 2 seasons in Formula 3 as well, before moving up to Formula 2 last year. Finished 4th in both of them, and then finished 9th last year in F2, setting himself up for this year then. He's been very, very strong as the Mercedes junior, but he's also going to focus on Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who's coming up at Mercedes. Really want to get him in, don't they? Putting him straight to Formula 2 as well. So we'll see how he gets on next season.
Kimi Antonelli, of course, managed by Toto Wolff, used to be a shoe-in for the Mercedes team whenever Lewis Hamilton decides to retire from Formula 1. And I think the main team at Mercedes in the future will be Vesti and Kimi Antonelli. Whether George Russell goes longer, it's his choice, but Russell's still young. Hamilton winding down his F1 career. Says he's still very much in. There's an interesting rumour going around, of course, that we'll talk about in practice for F1, about Christian Horner saying that Hamilton approached him, and yet it's not true. And we never heard anything of that, so Horner must have just been saying something. We'll talk about that in the practice session. But Crawford goes second, 1:40.445. Hadjar now goes up there. Nazani, Fittipaldi goes in. Maloney tops. 1:29, 1:39, 1:22. I'm just trying to work out how our timing screens are so far behind today. Like, hang on, how far are they? They're 14 seconds back. I can't be right. Pourchaire to the top, though.
Yeah, for me they're ahead.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, the TV pictures are behind by 14 seconds. So, Hauger goes ninth. For sure, now ninth. Pourchaire, though, 1:38.733. He goes top. Right, let's send it back downstairs to your feet, and the slower runs start to be completed. Alex and Alex.
Sitting there, responded really nicely with a second place in the feature race in Budapest, but then the failure to start in Spa, the wheels literally coming off in Zandvoort, and then the early contact on the opening lap coming out of the Roja, heading to the first Lesmo. Well, that has defined his season. He has had some brilliant moments along the way this year. A 5-time race winner, second place man, 166 points to his name.
Yeah, you really look back, you say so eloquently, Jakesy. There are several moments, aren't there, throughout the year where things really went awry for Vesti. I'd forgotten about that moment back in Zandvoort. And just pure misfortune at times. But some tremendous performances at other for the Mercedes junior driver, and get a good chance to show what he can do, perhaps with a little bit more concentrated running throughout F1, FP1. So many of the drivers who got a run back in Mexico didn't get the full opportunity to show what they can do. His championship rival Théo Pourchaire, another one of those, as we see the Williams liveried car going round.
So, oh, big moment there for Ralph Boschung.
Yeah, just down there, the braking's over 14. He just turns it in, and just a big twitch coming in. But yeah, the Williams going round.
Yeah. So, just the drivers now starting to get a bit of a feel for the circuit as well. But yeah, really great to have Formula 2 back now.
Love it. Absolutely brilliant to have it back. Let's throw it back.
Going deep there as well. Dennis Hauger has just had a time deleted, so he loses that for track limits at turn number 1 and goes to the bottom of the pack. Here's Oliver Behrman, 4-time race winner this year. And you do have the strange comparison, Alex, of Ollie Behrman's won 4 races, Fred Vesti has won 5 races, ART have 1 win with Théo Pourchaire, they have 1 win with Victor Martins, and they're ahead of them in the points championship. More to it than that, but an interesting comparison.
It is so interesting when you have the ups and downs of Formula 2, how that plays into the team's championship with the comparative fortunes of the drivers. Oliver Behrman, of course, another driver who'll be behind the wheel of the Haas yet again this weekend. And what a fine rookie season he has had, Oliver Behrman. Truly sparkling performances at various stages throughout the year, following him through the early sector of the lap, which is so fast. Now, this mid-circuit chicane, turn 6 and 7, the second DRS zone, heads down towards what used to be a 3-part chicane down at turn 9, is now a long, fast left-hander with a bump on the way in. Oliver Behrman arcs the car in. There's the bump. You see it affect the steering as Oliver Behrman arcs the car in, and Leclerc has parked his...
Yeah, red flag's out. So Arthur Leclerc's cut to a stop, and the red flag is out. Now that's at turn 2, isn't it, Omi? So he's just come to a stopper there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like he's just had some issues. It's exactly what we saw in Formula 3 mostly as well last year, with Friday not being really a good day for Leclerc. A lot of issues he has usually on Friday with the car and in practice, and sometimes last year in qualifying as well in Formula 3. But now he stopped here as well.
Numerous access points, so they should be able to get it in quickly. A drive from the side of the helmet there. As they come into it, so they should be able to get that car out of the way quite quickly. This will only be like a 5-minute stoppage max, not too much time lost. Oh, Arta, you haven't actually looked at your thing yet. If it's electrocuted, I wouldn't touch it. You're not doing the right thing here, my friend. I'm glad that's not electrified, because he would have just been killed if he had touched that, because you're not supposed to take your gloves off when you get out of the car. He's broken the procedural run there. You're supposed to get out of the car, and if it's come to stop an electrical fault, you come out, you jump out the car, but you don't take your gloves off to get out the car. You wait. So he's broken the procedure there to go into. It's not great there from Martin Leclerc, a driver who is interestingly waiting along. So let's head it back downstairs. Red flag's out there, which 2 minutes to go.
There. And a bit of frustration there, it appeared, because you really do need this session to get up to speed. The sim can say one thing, reality can say something different. You mentioned the difference in compounds, Alex. We used to run the super soft tyre here in yesteryear, and I really enjoyed it because it was absolutely useless as a tyre. It would fall apart within 3 laps. It would fall apart within 3 laps, and sometimes it was the right strategy to be on. But you would have this amazing, there's the frustration of losing the only practice session you have of the entire weekend in FIA Formula 2. And Arthur Leclerc on the podium earlier this season finds his running interrupted. And he knows that means the back foot for the rest of the weekend. To go back to that super soft rubber, yeah, it would disappear in terms of use at lap 3, but sometimes it was the right tyre to be on. So the drivers would just have to try and tiptoe through those laps, and it meant that you basically had the field swap mid-race, and I always found it a thrilling part of the feature race. That doesn't exist anymore. Slightly more sensible, probably, to run the soft and the medium, more durable compounds of tyre.
It's one of those, isn't it, where we've done so many laps around this place, particularly in Formula 2. So much of the testing happens here as well, that the tyre manufacturer feel confident to throw a soft tyre at the field and have enough data about it to know that there aren't going to be issues with it, which creates these very strategic and interesting races. It's a circuit where pole is a very dominant position, which is why I think you're seeing so many drivers bias their running later in the session to run on lower fuel loads and get a feel for qualifying a little later on. But we've seen some great racing here in Formula 2, those sequential DRS zones giving us great battling, particularly down towards the new turn 9.
Okay, let's hear from our driver who's going to make his debut this weekend. A fan favourite for sure. You're looking at him in the pit lane. We heard from him earlier in the weekend. It's Franco Colapinto.
I'm very excited to be jumping into a Formula 2 already this weekend. I think it's a privilege, to already be able to do the last round before my actual season starts and to get all that experience under my belt already in a race weekend, not only in a test, not only being able to do practice pit stops, for example, in the test, but also in a real race with cars around and in a competition. That's, I think, a very cool experience to have, and I'm just super excited for the weekend, super excited to be working with MP again. It's like my family in motorsport, so I'm just really happy to be here.
Yeah, special moment to make the step up from Formula 3 to Formula 2. Williams Academy looking pretty good right now. You've got Franco Colapinto, you've got Zach O'Sullivan about to head out in FP1 for the team. You've also got the Macau winner, Luke Browning, as well. So they've got some good options with that team at the moment.
Really do. Great young talent moving through. Ferrari Driver Academy in the shape of Arthur Leclerc, having a bit of a difficult session. Will be Schwartzman behind the wheel of the Ferrari a little later on. And feeder series driver extraordinaire in recent years. Ayumu Iwasa checks in on the data behind on the other side. You can just see it actually through the other side of the paper. They want to be hiding that from the camera, so their rivals can't be scanning it through the back of the page. Will be a wheel speed trace of how fast he's going. They dip down into the corners, the wheel speed traces, and obviously more speed is better. And then throttle, brakes, steering, often engine revs and gear as well. That'll be from them, probably overlaid with the only other data available to them at this stage, which will be that of their teammate. They'll be able to see how they performed on their best lap so far to try to improve in the final 18 minutes of this session as the field is neutralised and continues to sit in the pit lane.
Let's hear from Victor Martins now. He's been telling us about his approach to his final round of his rookie season.
I'm honestly approaching like I just want to do the best job possible. I'm targeting to do another pole position, to win another race, and being all the time up there on the field, every time from pre-practice to the end. And I know this will bring the result I want, which is reaching P3 in the championship and getting the rookie title for myself, for Antoine, and for the whole team. And yeah, I know what are the solutions to get there, and I will focus on that.
Victor Martins, driver who goes into the last round of the season in 5th place in the point standings. He's 1 point ahead of Oliver Bearman, and he's 7 back on fellow Alpine Academy driver Jack Doohan. Glass half full or glass half empty?
Well, we're going to find out. Arthur Leclerc's back in the pit lane, but the green light goes on and we're underway for the remaining 17 minutes of this session. It's very cold in this commentary box right now. I've never known it this cold. It won't get hot either. The heater will not work. Standing right next to it, it's feeling nothing. So I have to get another one in as well. Otherwise, Megan will moan. Getting into it. So after this session finishes, we've got, what is it, 45 minutes or so until the next session. So we've got to set up Megan's laptop. I'll be setting it, literally, it's going to be mad. I'm never going to, it's going to be one of the craziest days ever. Nobody's looking forward to it. Nobody wants to do it.
It always is, Josh, isn't it? Though?
Yeah.
Every weekend.
Yeah, I hate it. I honestly do.
There is some form of craziness every single weekend.
I've never meant it more when I've said I want this season to be over. Oh, it's involving car 2, Colapinto, pit entry infringement. Okay, so what's he probably speeding or he's cut the line somewhere, but yeah. I've never meant it more. I want this season over.
Don't worry, Josh. Just the rest of this weekend and a few other stuff, and then we're done.
Yep. Yep. Nearly there. 8 hours on Tuesday is going to be interesting.
And then 2024.
Yeah. But I
think I might be commentating on Christmas Eve.
You're joking. What the hell?
And I think I might be commentating on New Year's Eve as well.
What are you doing on those days?
I don't know, just commentating really.
There isn't anything on.
Some leagues that are still going on, so I guess.
Some people don't have Christmas breaks.
I might end up ending the year. I might end up ending the year on New Year's Eve by commentating, and then starting it as well with commentating.
Oh, you've got to take days off.
Let me check out what the calendar is.
Maybe just more than me. Right, let's go down and have some information.
Of course, because yeah, there is a possibility, but as you know, it's quite difficult situation. So what I want to do is just maximize our performance as a team, and yeah, if we do good qualifying and feature race, it will be quite enough for our championship. But you know, if top 2 do a good race, a good point, it should be difficult for us, even if we do a good job. So you know, we cannot control everything. Just what we need to do is do our maximum performance.
I've got a lot coming up in.
Go on then.
As well. Also, I'm doing the 24-hour of F1 thing.
Oh. Stewards.
Yeah, and then obviously PSGL and all of that continues as well. But obviously, just have a bit of a break during the Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, I took a break on Wednesday from the session as well. From E-Series in Monaco. Looked like it was a great race as well. Well done, Richie and Josh, to calling that one. To come into it. But I'll be back next week, and then once a week commentating until, what was it, December 20th? Yeah, that's fine. Only one thing to do per week. Then we'll, you know, just take a nice rest over the whole of December, keep my voice active with one a week, and then we're back. January the 13th is race day number 1 for Formula E in Mexico City. We'll be live for all of that, but the tagline for next year is JB Motorsports 24/7. Now what that means is it's 2024, but we're going to be doing something every single day of the week. So there'll always be some form of video and content out daily, whether that be YouTube Shorts, a little update, a podcast, interviews, or classic races from other series. There'll always be something on the channel throughout the year. So there's always be something daily, which I think is a
I'll probably record stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Record some waffle stuff.
Yeah.
About random.
And of course, cheekily we'll also have some PSGL stuff as well from there, because Ian and Jess can upload them. We'll do the same, but with wraparound, so we're not using the qualifying sessions. So Owasa does a 138.413. He's 52 thousandths quicker than Doohan, 79 thousandths quicker than Nizani. Vesti goes fifth, 138.975. So yeah, there's a lot planned for next year. Don't forget we've got NASCAR next year as well. Poitier does a 138.219. So that's Victor Martins, who does a 138.219. Poitier does a 138.241. Timings changing quite quickly on the board there for us to keep up with it. Hauger 7th, Crawford 9th. Momo Correa up into 10th position. Stanek in 11th, so we've still got a few bits to find. Yeah, team's not complete this weekend. No Jess for it as well, so... but we do have Adam joining us for FP1 on his birthday today, so do remember that. Oh, little twitch there. And then Mason's going to come in. Oops! And Ozani too. They're pushing quite hard this morning, aren't they, Amy?
Yeah, they definitely are, and quite a lot of these drivers are also going and doing Formula 1 coming up as well. But yeah, Teo Poitier in his final race, making his way through as well. And going over the road is the Van Amersfoort of Richard Verschoor. Obviously one of the drivers, along with Derubal if he was racing, to have driven in GP3 around this circuit a few years ago. Remember that one? The final race of GP3 in 2018. That was some great action back then. And then obviously for 2019, they can go here, renamed to Formula 3. So...
it's going to be one of those weekends. Do you know, I don't think I'm going to get a bath until later. I've yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Everything that's
I've
got
just
to be
been
set
reminded
up.
of Beckman schools.
Beckman, go on.
David Beckman.
Oh, David Beckman, yeah.
Former FP car. Oh yeah, Alex X1 shouted Beckman schools in commentary. I remember that one from Sochi in 2018
Yeah, I remember that one.
as well.
I'm trying to think, actually, there's so much to do. There's so much. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to do anything. Set Mega's laptop up, set up another commentary box. Yeah, get the F1 streams up. Yeah, we're not going to have time to do anything. It's going to be one of those days where hell is just everywhere. I'm so not looking forward to this. Now, why can't I do that? Yeah, my brain's not working here actually, because we could just swap over after practice into the main commentary box for MotoGP. So there's something not quite right there on these matters. Literally, I think we're setting up the commentary boxes for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes work across the hour 45. We're another commentary box once. It's going to be that. It's going to be quite confusing, I reckon. Still.
Yeah, just one of those weekends, really.
Yeah.
As usual, it is one of those weekends.
I think it's tomorrow that mainly affects the other commentary box that's needed. Anyway, Doohan goes top, 138.101. Great time from him there as well. Owasa coming in, 5th fastest. As we see Cordeal going to 16th. Got to find a bit more time on the board. Here comes Owasa out of the last corner. He's 5th and goes fastest, 137.892. Great time from Owasa. Right, let's catch up then with, as Hadjar goes 10th, Martin's on the lap. Let's catch up with Alex.
Martins was prioritising that pole position, that win. He knows that his teammate might have to err on the side of caution. We'll talk about his teammate in a few moments' time. Oliver Bem's gone over the line in 14th, so not his best lap. Let's see what Victor Martins can pull out of the bag. Again, really strong in that final sector. Victor Martins, nicely done. And Zane Maloney, a contender as well. The driver from Barbados finds himself across the line and into 2nd position. Teo Poitier has been in championship management mode. Not the computer game, but in reality, he has been looking at man-marking his rivals all the way through this campaign. It's an approach, Alex, that I think was born out of a difficult 2nd season in the championship. It's worked for him really well, healthy advantage all the way through the year. His only win this season, our points leader, the first feature race of the season.
and we thought he'd walk away with it after what was a really dominant weekend back at the beginning of the year. He's had to manage it far more, I think, even than he was expecting, certainly than we were expecting after watching that first round of the year. But I absolutely agree with you. He's learned, hasn't he, that, and he's watched other champions come through this series and seen how it's done, endlessly being up there in the top few positions consistently. And Pourchaire's done that with brilliant class throughout this year. On the race control screen, incident involving Colapinto and Verschoor has been reviewed and dismissed for no further investigation. They are getting in a bit of trouble out there amongst each other for a little bit of impeding going on, but the stewards this time saying NFA to that one.
I've never heard that abbreviated, Alex. Terrific. Juan Manuel Correa's done a great lap to go up to second position. The man who returned to the championship exactly 1 year ago in this session. And good lap for him as he continues on. Medium tyre bolted to the car. It's the same for all of them. They'll go to the softer compounded tyre when we run under the lights later on. And yeah, fine lap around this circuit. Not best in any of the sectors. Doing just on the fastest first sector of anyone so far. Oasa's just done a personal best as well, and that's just a 100th of a second slower. So they seem well matched as they continue to push on these mediums.
Not to detract from the efforts of anyone, I did see a few cars sitting in the pit lane with a new set of the medium compound on, so whether they're choosing to run a second set of the medium compound towards the end just for a lap to see if they can get a better feel for qualifying later might be the reason if some drivers are either higher or lower than they expect to be in terms of position. Doohan brakes into the tricky braking zone, cross load on the front axle can cause a front lockup down towards turn 12. Then you have to be so patient through turns 13 and 14, still having that bit of understeer, although it appears to be improving as the tyre moves away from him through 14. 15 is a sweeping right, and then 16, that late apex, slightly ponderous for Doohan, but as the track moves forward, so does he. 1/10 down this time from the fastest lap of Ayumu Iwasa, and it is Iwasa on a double improvement in the middle sector and the first sector, who makes his way through the final sector. Can't quite improve though, 3/10 down on what he achieved before.
Yeah, not a bad lap with 5 minutes to go there, and everyone's starting to get into Lomi as well. And now we're seeing the fastest times coming through. I've got a good feeling here that Vesti might out-qualify Pourchaire. Pourchaire is very much off the pace at the moment, down in 7th place. Vesti up to 4th.
Yeah, Frederick Vesti goes into 4th position right now. All of the drivers, though, right now pushing on as well, including Teo Pourchaire. But first of all, Victor Martins, not having the best second sector, but we'll see what he can do overall. Wide a bit through the last corner, and he will not find him. But Maloney is going to be making his way through. First of all, Fittipaldi. And then we are going to be seeing Maloney. He doesn't improve now. Let's see Teo Pourchaire. There he is in the background in the Sauber Academy car. He goes to the top by 1.5 of a second. Verschoor joins him in second.
I stand corrected immediately what I say. Just Pourchaire knocking out the park by over 1/10. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
As well,
sector.
Mady, 27. Now the Alpine Academy driver he is Kushmai.
All quiet then as they keep going. Just going to keep it on now. Let's take a look at Ayumu Iwasa.
Yeah, obviously the driver who won the feature race 1 year ago, beating Drogovic to a brilliant last lap final that we had there last year.
Oops, sliding, coming out as turn 14. Good news is I've just looked at the schedules actually, and bar the Tissot Sprint and the Moto2 and MotoGP race, which will have to be completely done in the secondary commentary blocks, everything else can actually be done in the main box. Oh, and Q2 for MotoGP. So, yeah, basically we're doing all this work about to set up everything for around about, out of the total 6 to 7 hours of MotoGP content we're doing this weekend, the second commentary box is going to be used for around about 3 of them. So it's not that bad, but today it's only been used for 30 minutes. So, yeah. Maybe less than that, that's how stupid it gets.
Yeah.
Literally, because it's 10:55 for the F2 quali. And then, how was the gap between F11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3? Yeah, so I think there's a gap, but it's not a nice gap.
Yeah.
It's one of these days where you just don't know. And I've got to change as well into sportswear. Anyway, back to the pits.
We did 4 years with him. We had also the F3 with him. So for sure, when he arrived in the team, he was still a baby. At that age, you grow up quite a lot on 4 years. So he's a much more mature driver now. He has always been very quick. He's very talented. He has improved quite a lot on the approach and on the feedback. He's now he's not a baby anymore. So it was at four very nice years with him. He's a very nice guy.
Sebastian Felipe there watching on as we enter the last 90 seconds of this session. Theo Pourchaire still running. He is fastest numero uno at the moment.
Yeah. If Vesti does want to, well, as we cut on to him as well, if Vesti does want to have any hope of winning the championship, first of all, he needs that pole. And also, he needs that pole. There's extra points you get as well for that. So any little will help. And then obviously he starts on pole for the feature race. And then try do a Bearman. Have a good sprint race as well as Iwasa goes second. But Vesti about to make his way through. So is Victor Martins. But Vesti heading to the final few corners now this circuit.
Up to the line then. Is it good enough for Frederick Vesti? And it is a 3 tenths down, so he stays 6th, but he's got one more run. Martins to the top. 1:37.389. That's a very decent time for the Alpine driver, as you say.
Yeah, and ART were very strong at the opening of the season, where we thought they would absolutely dominate. If we remember back to Bahrain, if we remember back to Jeddah, as Maloney goes into 5th. Now we cut on to Jack Doohan, who won 2 feature races back-to-back in Budapest and Spa, and then it was a retirement straight away, facing backwards on the the rolling start that we had in Zandvoort, as well on a damp circuit. And that's where we also saw Bearman pushed off, hit by Correa, Vesti also spinning. So that was a chaotic race where the driving standards were terrible by all of the drivers as well. And it was a really chaotic race back then.
What's changed? It's F2, nothing changes. Bosch on 3rd, our sprint race winner from Shakir. He does a 1:37.873. Did Bosch win the sprint on the feature? I think he won the sprint, didn't he?
Sprint, yeah,
yeah,
sprint.
First race winner of the year, yeah. Good season, that. All kicks off, of course, Friday next year. Yeah, not Saturday. It's Friday next year for racing. Because it's Thursday.
Even for us, yeah.
Yeah, even for us. It's
for us.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the opening 2 races of F1, F2 and F3 next year. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And leave Sunday free, which is great for us. And as I said, the week later, as F1 turns Saturday racing, because they want to avoid the clash with Ramadan, which starts on the Sunday in Jeddah, so they want to avoid it. So they've moved all the dates around. Does mean that pre-season testing is also a day early. As the checker flags out, Martins, Maloney, Doohan 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Iwasa 6th, Vesti 9th, Fittipaldi 10th, Hadjar 13th, Rosani 15th, Bearman 17th, Cordial 18th, Aran and Mason 20th and 21st. Leclerc will stay down 22nd, Rashore to 4th, Pourchaire to 3rd, 1:37.608 as everyone else crosses the line to complete the lap times and takes the checkered flag. Waiting on Boschung and Cordial now as they all cross the line. So just waiting on Ralph Boschung. Can he improve on his lap time? He's still in 6th place and has backed off in the sectors. So Boschung stays 6th. So a good session there, Omi. A nice, calm run as everyone will now waits for everything in qualifying. Who's your hot money on? Is his name? He's got the mic. There you go.
Yeah. Well, it's Formula 2 first also. Anything is possible. I think we are going to get shocks. How many red flags will we have? It's all going to be very interesting, as well as Correa went off the road down at turn 1. Doohan also having a lock-up. Same thing as well with Roy Nissany as well. and hopefully will be his final FIA Formula 2 race. But yeah, it definitely could be anyone. But yeah, Victor Martin's looking strong. Maloney, Porcher, and really, it really could be anyone. So I'm really looking forward to this Formula 2 returning. But a few of these drivers also now have an FP1 to do as well coming up.
Yeah, 10 of them. Got new F1 drivers coming in as well. But from this running order, if I get my phone up to see where they are and exactly who they are, here we go. We've got Isaac Hadjar. Is he in the mix today? No. Well, it would be Jack Doohan, Zach O'Sullivan, Frederick Vesti, Theo Butcher, and Oliver Behrman. But in total, it's Jake Dennis, Isaac Hadjar, Robert Schwartzman, Pato O'Ward, Libby Djokovic, Jack Doohan, Zach O'Sullivan, Frederick Vesti, Theo Butcher, and Oliver Behrman. They're going in. Red Bull have actually changed both drivers. So Dennis and Hadjar are completely different. So no Max or anything in practice one. Be a very special practice. Are you looking forward to that in about an hour? I am.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. But Zach O'Sullivan, obviously the runner-up from Formula 3 this year to Gabriele Bortoleto. And we'll see them as well next season, how he gets on in Formula 2 as well, as they will do the practice starts. It's going to be an interesting one tomorrow. The sprint race as well.
Everyone's fired up, ready to go. It's going to be one of those weekends where we all look forward to it. So we take a look. New podium here in Abu Dhabi as well that overlooks the start-finish straight, a bit like Monza. So everything a bit different. They're all doing the practice starts, getting the rubber down on the grid. I wonder if we've changed the light position for when they go out this season. Always been straightforward, look ahead. Can't really go sideways on this track thanks to the pit lane and other areas. But I wouldn't mind a different angle of the Abu Dhabi lights as they head down. We're having the start line on a hill as well. I've never known why they didn't flatten it out. Only a bit of elevation change comes with the start line. Right, here's the session results then. Victor Martins is fastest from Zayn Maloney second, Theo Poitier third, Doohan's fourth, for sure fifth, Boschong sixth, Iwasa seventh, Correa eighth, Frederick Vesti ninth, and Kushmaini in 10th. 11th for Enzo Fittipaldi, Dennis Hager is 12th, Isaac Hadjar is 13th, Jack Crawford, Roy Lozani, Romo Stanek, Oliver Behrman, Emile Cordial, Franco Colapinto, Paul Aron, Joshua Mason, and Arthur Leclerc in 12th position. Go on, Naomi. Do you reckon they'll be decided in qualifying or in favour of Poitier, or is this going to go to the sprint?
Well, I think I'm going to predict it's going to go to the feature.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey,
So, yeah, we'll see how that goes, but qualifying is going to play a deciding factor in how it's going to end. So cannot wait to see, but great way to start the Formula 2 weekend.
absolutely. Join us in a couple of hours for qualifying. Next up here on the channel will be Formula 1, then MotoGP straight after, then back to F2. See you later. Bye-bye.